What's up, traders? Zach here from the Trading Network. I hope you guys are doing well. It is Sunday, December 18th, and I've got yet another weekly market profile forecast for you guys for both the ES and NQ futures markets. Now, we are going to go ahead and start off with the NQ session profile, move on over into the weekly, and then we will do the same for ES as well. Give you guys my thoughts moving forward into the coming week, some major levels to look at, and very likely levels to take some high probability trades from. So let us get started here. What I'm going to be looking at first and foremost on NQ, once again from a session profile perspective, is acceptance above value from Friday. So you can see here that the value area from Friday is spanning between 11,283, which is the value area low, and 11,350-ish, 360-ish, right around here, which is indeed the value area high, 11,358 to be precise. Depending on what your ticks per level is set at, using our market profile template, it might vary, give or take 5 points or so. So you can just call it basically 11,280 to 11,360 if you want to keep it nice and simple there. So if we get acceptance above the value area high, that is generally telling us that the other time frame players, or large time frame players, as we like to think about it from the market auction perspective, are interested in buying at a level that did not have very many buyers on our last session. So you can see here, just to give you guys a little bit more or in-depth information when it comes to profile in general, is these TPOs, you see how there are single prints and double prints, basically all the way down until the value area high. That means that there was not a lot of trading activity that took place overall above the value area high on Friday. So what that means when we have single prints and double prints especially is, one, it is much easier to move through an area for price to move through an area where there has been less business taking place, right? So compared to this thick area of the profile, of course, where the POC is, that's where the most business was done. Compared to, this extended TPO print right here, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 prints at the POC compared to single, double, and we've got a few triple prints right here as well. So my thought is if we can move and hold above this value area high, we're very, very likely, first and foremost, to get a test of Thursday's low at 11,404. And if we can get accepted back inside range and value from Thursday, very likely a move to 455, which is the overnight POC from the 15th into the 16th. And then we have the POC from Thursday at 11,475 up here as well. So some good levels that will offer up good trade opportunity to the upside, purely just looking at those. So mark those off. You can also consider this an important area right here. This is the volume point of control from the overnight session from Thursday into Friday, right around 11,386. So you could consider that sort of a stepping stone from a move from the value area high from Friday up to 404. So let's say that price moves above 360-ish and we get acceptance. You see, some bullish divergence, some good candlestick structure, some higher lows, etc. You can very likely use this overnight POC as your first target, 11,386, and your second target, 11,404. If you miss that trade, of course, you could take it along from 386 up to 404. And, these are just examples of how you can actively use these profile levels. And, they're kind of like dominoes, right? Once this level gets knocked down, it's likely we go and test this next area. Once this level gets knocked down, we get acceptance above that. Same thing here. We've got a high volume node right around 425. And of course, we've got that overnight POC at 455. The prior POC at 475, and then the overnight high at 487, which is lining up very, very closely with Friday's high there. So you could consider that a very important zone to keep an eye on moving forward as well. Now, on the flip side, from a session profile perspective, I am going to be, once again, looking at this value area high. And if we get rejected, first target to the downside is going to be 11,335. Second target to the downside is going to be this great level of confluence here, 312 and 313. That is Friday's POC at 313 and Thursday into Friday's overnight low at 312.50 to be exact. So that is going to be a major line in the sand moving forward into tomorrow's session. If we break 313, very, very likely we get some fierce reaction down to 283, the value low. And then 10 points or so below the value area low, we've got the range low from Friday. So if that breaks, we will look into some lower levels, both on the weekly candlestick chart as well as the weekly profile. I might have to load some more data on the weekly profile. Let's take a look here. Nope, we are good to go. I have enough data loaded. So here's what we got. On NQ weekly, if we do break to the downside, we break 275. I would be looking for a pretty serious move, about 200 points down to test this 11.1K, 11,085 area to be precise. That's the weekly regular trading hours high from the week of November 3rd. So I would look for a larger move down there. And if that breaks, you can see that we have two naked pointed controls from two weekly profiles in a row. We have the naked POC at 10,914, and that is once again the week of November 3rd. And then we have the naked POC from the week of November 7th as well. Okay, so keep an eye on those areas. 11,008, call it 11,000 even, and then 10,914. Those are our downside naked POCs, and we already tapped our upside naked POC at 146 last week. So that is telling. If we get downside pressure, I am certainly leaning towards a larger move towards these levels. We got to take it one level at a time, though. With that said, so don't get super bearish, of course, until or unless we start breaking these major downside levels. You can see here that the value area low from last week is 11,460 and a half. So that is once again going to be an important level moving forward to the upside. You can see that there is confluence between the overnight POC at 455 and that value area low from last week at 460. So if we can move and hold above that, on a larger scale, look for a move to 11,550, 11,576. You can see there's good confluence between 576, the low from November 28th weekly profile, and the value area low from the December 5th weekly profile at 581. So we do have some nice upside levels if we do get acceptance back into Friday's range and value and back into Thursday's range and value. I will be looking at these higher scale upside targets, and we've got some great confluence between our first upside high volume node here right around 11,620-ish, and that is once again the POC from that December 5th weekly profile as well. So very, very likely that if we do get accepted back into not last week's range, but the prior week's range above 11,550, then we are much, much more likely to revisit this area, once again, the high volume node and this POC from that December 5th weekly profile. So I think that should give you guys some good levels, especially just starting out into the week to keep an eye out on. Of course, once again, we have to take things one level at a time. You can take quick trade opportunity back and forth between these session profile levels, especially. And if you're looking for some larger moves, then you can utilize these weekly levels as well. Now, let us move on over to the the session profile, and then we'll get into the weekly profile, and then I'll pop over and discuss the candlestick chart a little bit as well, which again, I will note is looking pretty bearish, and that is something that we were discussing last week as well. We did get that confirmed weekly local top, which I will explain and point out in just a moment here. So as far as the ES session profile goes, you guys pretty much know the deal if you've been watching these videos long enough, that ES and NQ typically have a similar structure. So what we are looking at is the same thing. We're looking at acceptance above the value area high, or acceptance above value in general, from Friday at 38.80. Okay, if we can get accepted above 38.80, I will be looking for a move up to 39.10-ish. Once again, great confluence between the value area low and the range low from Thursday between 39.10 and 39.08. So look for a move there first and foremost. And what do you know? We also have Friday's high up there at 39.12. So we have basically 3 or 4 stacking levels, because we also have the initial balance high from Friday at 39.1150. So this is going to be a very important line on the sand level. If we can move and hold above Friday's high, very likely we're coming to tap this naked POC to the upside. That's Thursday's naked POC at 39.23 even. So look for a move if we do get accepted from 39.12 up to 39.23. That'll offer up some great trade opportunity, very, very likely. And you can see that there's just more confluence supporting that, because we have another zone between the Thursday into Friday overnight POC at 39.25 and that prior point of control from Thursday's regular trading hour session at 39.23. Just really, really good confluence across the board with these levels. You can see 39.33 lining up with the overnight high. So this is the initial balance low from Thursday at 39.33, okay? And then we have the overnight high from Thursday into Friday at 39.34.5. So that is going to be a very, very important area to keep an eye on, and you'll very, very likely get some good trade opportunity. You can see that we've got the value area high right here from Thursday as well, 39.38, and acceptance above that, we have single prints above this level right here. So if we move above 39.52, that very, very likely gets us a move back into 39.69, which is the overnight low from the 14th into 15th session. And then we have 39.85, which is the range high from Thursday as well. So we do have a lot of opportunity and a lot of great levels to keep an eye on moving into the beginning of this week. So that is what I will recommend for you guys to keep an eye on, especially moving into Monday, Tuesday. And, price is going to take a little bit of time to develop, and it's going to take, a little bit of time to see how this current overnight session develops, of course. But generally speaking, taking things one level at a time, I know I say that all the time, but it is for good reason. It's because, you don't want to get too attached to any particular bias, right? You want to make sure that you are watching and allowing the market to tell you and give you the most accurate and up-to-date information to where a high probability opportunity is. So with that said, really just be patient, mark off these levels, mark off 38.80, 72, 71. You can create zones from profile levels, 2 or more profile levels that are within, a couple points of each other, especially, right? So you can create a zone between Thursday into Friday overnight low, as well as the initial balance low and the POC from Friday right there between 71 and 72. So this is an important area to hold. If we can move and hold above this level right here, once again, that's the value area high from Friday. You guys know the deal. Very, very likely some upside pressure. And acceptance above this zone right here very, very likely gets us that test of 39.23. So with that said, let's go into the weekly, and we will discuss very, very similar situation here. We've got naked POCs to the downside, already tapped our naked POC last week to the upside. This can be considered a naked POC as well at 4,050, just hasn't populated yet on the chart. So acceptance above 38.55 and a quarter very likely gets us on a larger scale. Once again, a move to 39.20. That's the value area low from last week. And then acceptance and holding above 39.20, I'll be looking for a move to 39.50, 39.55-ish, which is the low and the value area low from the week of December 5th. Okay. Back into that weekly profile, and we are likely testing the POC at 39.94, the value area high at 40.15, which is also the value area low from the prior week of November 28th. So there's some great confluence there, and that is where I will be looking. So mark these levels up as well: 38.55, 39.20, 39.55. And I would probably skip straight to this POC. Stepping stone would be 39.75, the low from that November 28th session right there. And then acceptance back into, of course, above 55 and above 75. Look for a move to that 94 POC. That's 39.94.50, and that is the point of control from the December 5th regular trading hours weekly profile. And just looking over here at our monthly volume composite as well, you can see that there's good confluence here. Just below the low from that November 28th weekly profile, we have our first high volume node. Just above that same level, we have a second high volume node. And then once again, just below that 94 POC from the December 5th weekly profile, we have our third high volume node. And you can see that there's great confluence as far as how much business was done, how much volume was done in this area. So this is going to be an important area. If we can move and hold above this area in particular, that very, very likely opens up a move to 40.15-ish, okay? So that is what I will be looking at on the upside. On the downside, you guys know the deal. Break below 55. Almost guarantees that we tap this weekly naked POC at 38.43. We've got 38.50. That is actually the weekly high from November 3rd. So over a month ago, and that is still quite a valid area. Break below this, very likely some more fierce downside down to the 3800 level. 37.97, that's the value area high from November 3rd weekly profile. 37.83, that is the weekly low, as well as the value area low from the November 7th profile. And just below that, we've got that second naked POC to the downside. So there are some great levels to look at on a larger scale if you guys are taking, longer time frame trades, or if you're just looking for a bit more of a longer term view. That is exactly what I am looking at. So with all of that said, let's head over to the weekly candlestick chart, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on that. All right, so first up on the weekly candlestick chart, we've got NQ. And as I mentioned earlier, we have technically confirmed a weekly local top with this last weekly bar closing below the low of the prior weekly bar. Okay, so this candle closed at 11,344, and the low of the prior bar was 11,533. So we did close pretty significantly below that level. And if we cannot get picked up and get acceptance back into last week's range, last Friday's value area at the very least, or above Friday's value, then I will indeed be looking for more downside pressure. First and foremost, on a weekly, again, this is going to be a large target, but probably back to these to test the area of these prior weekly lows. Okay, so it's very, very important for the buyers, for the bulls, to hold this 10,800 level. If we break 10.8, very, very likely we do get that test quite a ways lower, about 500 points lower, down to 10,350-ish. All right. Now, once again, don't go getting all bearish on me. We need to take things one level at a time. We, of course, have 1,000 points before we, get anywhere near that 377 EMA on the weekly right there, which is this dark blue line. But I want to prepare you guys that really anything can happen. And we have these profile levels that we have discussed on the weekly profile analysis that will give you stepping stones down to these areas. But, it's very important to just have if-then scenarios in mind. If X level breaks, look for a move to the next level. If X level breaks to the upside, look for a move to the next level, so you can keep analytically focused and you don't get caught up, in the volatility, in, the up and down ticks of the market, so to speak. So that's what I'm looking at. We really need, in order to negate this local top, we would really need to close all the way above the high of this candle, which would be at 12,339. So as I mentioned last week, it could be asking for a little much to get 1,000-point move this week, but who knows? Anything can happen, and that's what we need to keep in mind. Is we got to just let the market tell us what to do. That's the most important thing. So I'll pop over to the ES weekly chart. It is relatively similar, I will say, as we do have confirmed a weekly local top. Once again, we would need to close above last week's high, 4180, to negate this lower high. Here's the high right here, technically confirmed on this bar, closing below the low of this. And then you can see we have this local top was confirmed not last week, but the week before that. And now we're just seeing continuation from that. So we will need to see buyers step in. I wouldn't expect personally, a negation of this lower high right here. But, to get started would be just printing, simply a bullish candle this week and, closing above the top of that in the subsequent week. So once again, one level at a time. I just wanted to give you guys my thought process on this candlestick structure. But overall, we're really just getting another rejection of the bearish op zone on the weekly. So it's going to be very important, once again, for overall macro structure that we hold these lows. We can mess around in this area quite a while. We could technically come all the way back down to just above these prior lows, put in another low, and that's still a higher low. And that would kind of put us in some more ranging price action as opposed to a downtrend, because you need, consecutive lower highs and lower lows to really have that downtrend, which we do have here. Lower low, high, that's a lower high compared to that. Then we have another lower low, then we have another lower high. So it's going to be very, very important to hold this level for any sort of, hopium, if you will, for a macro low. It's still possible that we've put in a macro low down here, but, it could take a while to really start a new uptrend. So keep that in mind. Don't, get stuck to any sort of bias. Once again, just let the market tell you what to do. And that's how, we take the highest probability trades and we stick to our plan on a consistent basis as intraday traders. So once again, that is what I will be looking at moving forward into the coming week. Go back, rewind this video, mark off these weekly levels, mark off the session profile levels. I want to let you guys know that we will be having a very special tool releasing very soon, which will automatically plot your market profile levels every single day. That includes the current profile levels, and they will move in real time for you, all without the need for tick replay. So keep an eye on that. We will be releasing a video explaining how the indicator works. and we will finally be putting it on sale. I know a lot of you guys in the private Discord have been itching to get your hands on this market profile level because it is a bit tedious to, mark up those profile levels manually every single day. And this is a simple indicator. You just attach it to your chart and those profile levels are plotted automatically, and I'll show you guys how it works just real quickly here. So all these profile levels, I'm not manually labeling these, just to be very clear. You can see that they actually move in real time. The overnight point of control, overnight low, overnight high, that's this current session. We've got the dates, we've got the labels, all that good stuff. So that is a little teaser. If you guys are ever wondering how I get these profile levels plotted on my chart every day, that is exactly how. 100% automated with TTN tools. So with all that said, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys very much, as always, for taking the time to watch this content. If you like what you see, please feel free to like, subscribe, and click that bell notification to be notified every single time that we post videos here on the channel. If you guys want to learn more about what we do here at the Trading Network, please check out thetradingnetwork.io, where you can purchase access to our most popular offering, the Proprietary bundle, which includes our proprietary indicator package, lifetime Discord access, and the Fundamentals of Futures Trading course. Quickly, I want to say that if you guys are watching this content and you still don't have clear and concise strategies for your day trading, check out the Fundamentals of Futures Trading course, where we provide you step-by-step strategies for both ranging and trending market environments, amongst a ton of other very helpful information. So if you have any questions about that in particular, feel free to drop a comment down below, or you can email us at info@thetradingnetwork.io. You can, of course, purchase all of those products standalone on our website, as well as one-on-one mentorship with me, where I offer a 4-week program, which includes 20 one-on-one Zoom sessions, 1 hour long each. And the 10-week program includes 50 one-on-one Zoom sessions. I help critique traders' performance. I teach you trading psychology and everything in between. So if you guys are looking for a little bit more intimate one-on-one catered help, that is what I am here for, and that is what we have the mentorship programs for. So with all of that said, once again, thank you guys, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. I greatly appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers.